Welcome back to Horse Racing. Today it's Trifecta Tuesday with Thomas, whose back has to be hurting after carrying us yesterday. I felt like the program was in wingdings for me on Monday, Tom.
Well, I had a few.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on wingdings too.
Always need a few more, but that's the way it works.
Yes, and then you almost hit a really nice pick four at the end, but your horse finished second. Why does that always happen, Tom? Would you rather run out of the money, or would you rather second?
I was playing the pick second, pick four.
Well, you had all the first ones except for the last one there. That 6 horse.
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
No, you finished second. You're solo. Anyway, what are you going to do? It's always the last race that gets you. The first or the last, or the second or the third. One of them steps up to bite you. Hopefully today, the program for me was no longer in hieroglyphics, but actually in a language I understand. There's only 1 or 2 of those, so. But I do understand.
Always the first time.
Yeah, well, this craft. I can't think of another word to call it. It's like art, math, intuition, just luck. A lot of things mixed into one. It's funny how it goes, man. Sometimes you feel like you can't get anything wrong, and sometimes you feel like you can't get anything right, and it's quite the up and down experience. Well, I know it's always a good experience to get stuff for free. Today's free picks today, guaranteed tip sheet, are Finger Lakes. You've been to that track, Tom. You and Terry stopped there on your way to Saratoga, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Looks like a beautiful spot in the country in terms of like that area of New York.
Yeah,
I've not really stayed there for long.
The area is very nice. The track's a dump.
Well, guess we'll never get sponsored by Finger Lakes.
It's they got the casino there, and then they're not putting the money into the facility. Yeah, it's not a huge surprise. That most of them do. There are a lot doing that now, but frankly, when we were there was a good crowd there, which I was kind of surprised.
Race number 1, Freebird Bordeaux from Jose Miguel Perez Cruz. Good morning, Don Johnson. How are you? Please feel free, like Don and Jose, to put your thoughts into the comment section. Any interaction helps us with the algorithms with Google and YouTube and everybody else and all their scientific wingdings of algorithms to help us figure out how to get more folks to the show. We'd certainly like that. I've seen some other things on the internet, and you wonder how they get millions of views, but apparently they do, right?
Well, we're just not the topless handicappers.
Well, that's what we ought to do. From Island Margarita. Boy, that sounds like a hell of a fun place to be right there. Have you ever been to the Island Margarita, Tom?
No. I've drank my margaritas, but
and then ended up on an island, right? But,
yeah, probably don't want to talk about that.
So to watch the Parx races is GRTV south of the Texas border. It's the South American, North American, Central American version of TVG, but it's somehow equibase related. All right, enough of all that, Thomas. You and I have to get into horse racing picks at Parx. We'll start off with race number 1. Can you kindly share with us what they're racing for?
We have a 7 furlong race for claimers of $7,500 type. They are non-winners of 2 lifetime.
There's no February 13th today?
Not on this first race.
Coming up, I'm sure. All right. Maybe it was all the 13s yesterday that got me mixed up. Well,
it certainly helped, right?
Helped you, hurt me. I don't know what was going on yesterday. TVG or Sportsbook, yeah. But a lot of folks will say they're not. If they're south of the Texas border, that doesn't work for them. So in any case, let's talk about the profile of a winner for a 7 furlong race. Does favor stalkers 15% of the time. The horse that wins does lead from gate to wire. The rail position is fair. 2 and 3, a little bit of a bonus. 4 and out, get a discount. 10,000 simulations, Tom, here. Race number 1, not race number 4. We want to see which horses have the best chance to get the lead. You can see all of them except the 1 and the 6 with some opportunity, although it does look like my man Woody has the best shot to be the pace setter in the opener based upon our projected pace, we also want to see what horses are most likely to mirror their best performances. We call that C zone or comfort zone, preferably a score above 50. The only horse getting that ranking is Keep Dem Talking. 10,000 simulations where we spit out a projected speed figure, and then from there we calculate our fair odds. You can see here, perhaps a big overlay with the 7-horse Game Run. Our odds close to 1-1, so anything at post times higher than that could be some value there. And then 10,000 simulation to see how many times our speed figure was above par for this level, and that would be a 77. So the only horse to accomplish that was Game Run again. All right, next up is we take a look at what they call trip handicapping. All of these horses want to close. The 4 and 2 want to be on the front. If either one of them can be front or forward, they have a good shot. My man Woody is a lone E, about a length quicker than everybody else. He should get there. Late speed belongs to Game Run, the 7-horse. So that's the closer of the closers, and really doesn't look like he'll be all that far off the lead today. That one grades out as your top total pace horse. 5 points clear. My man Woody, who's 5 points clear of connecting. That looks like an ice cold try to me, Tom. 7-4-5 from a pace perspective. How do you think it goes?
Oh, I'm going to start with number 2. Keep Them Talking. Showed speed in his last race, for which he hasn't done in a while, and then retreated to finish 6th by a bunch of lengths. He's dropping back down to this level where he's had some success, and I think he may break through for a win. And this is one of those horses I refer to as one that is coming to sneaky form, because of that. It hasn't shown that speed before, or at least it hasn't in a while. And usually can get a good price on this one. And right now it's 20-1.
That's a good price, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to take number 8. Free Bird Bordeaux, my next one. He sat behind the leaders last time out, rallied for 2nd at this level. He's won a maiden at a longer distance, which means I think he's ready for a decent effort in this bunch. And based on that last race, I don't know why not. Finally, I'm going to take number 3, Code Enforcer. Many races back, he won his maiden at 7 furlongs, and that was at the main claimer 16 level. And then the trainer decided to play games, so to speak. He only had one race, a 20K race at 7 furlongs. Then he put him on the dirt, put him on the turf, longer distance, troubled trips, blah, blah, blah. You go on and on. Comes in from Tampa. That always piques my interest when they come up at this point, and I think you'll probably get a good run out of this one.
And then you got the 7 as your long shot, or the back end of your picks?
My back end of my picks, but I don't usually play that deep.
Well, we just put 4 picks up because that seems to be the standard in there. I don't usually go that deep either, but I'm going to go with Game Run. Top last race speed figure, 7 points clear of the next closest competitor. And this is one where I feel like getting a little bit more distance today with that late speed is going to be helpful, especially since it should sit right off the front. It's 4-1 right now too. So our simulation odds say there is some value in Game Run. Freebird Bordeaux, deceptively quicker last time out. It's the 8-horse in terms of its early pace there, cutting back from a mile and a 16th. So one's going longer, it's helpful. One's going shorter, it's helpful. They'll meet at the finish line. My man Woody, the 4-horse, is your lone E, and a good chance, as we saw in both our simulations and the pace perspective. Good shot to be on the front here. Won his lone race at Parx by a whopping 7.5 furlongs. That was maiden claiming 10. I'm going to catch a weight break today too, but if you're going to repeat that race, look out for my man Woody. And then finally connecting the 5-horse. This horse is trending in the right direction, was a lot better in the later part of its race last out. Another horse today where that additional late speed and additional runway could be a difference maker at a big price on the 5-horse. We got enough time to do race number 2, but Christopher D'Souza says in race number 1, he wants that 4-horse to go wire to wire with the 2 and the 6. Might as well add the 8 in there for an all even horse trifecta and exacta. Race number 2 is next on our list. Thomas, it's an even race, kind of fits in with Christopher's pick. So what are they going to run for here?
Yeah, we got a 6 furlong event for the bottom of the barrel of maiden claimers of 10K. And yeah, they're interesting bunch. We got one that has not run before. And then we have other ones.
Yeah, we got one first-time starter. And usually, I mean, when you start them at the bottom of the barrel, as you mentioned, that's usually not the best of indicators, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. At 6 furlongs, you're looking for tactical speed. At Parx, 36% went wire to wire. We did see speed pick it up in the second half of the card yesterday. Horses got to the front. A lot of them stayed there. Big time rail bonus for a complete animal. That horse is that first-time starter Tom was talking about. 2 and out. There is an inside to outside bias. So the closer you are to the rail, the better. There's a penalty beginning at 4 and out. The farther from the rail you are, the more difficult your trip is likely to be. Our 10,000 simulations in the second race shows us that the 2-horse Irish Deviant has a really good shot to get to the front. And on top of that, has the highest C-zone. We've seen those horses go wire to wire over and over and over again.
And flashes speed and stops.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing about those horses, the deeper they can hold the speed, the more confident they become. And I think when you get that comfort zone, sometimes you see that happen. As far as our overlays are concerned, we do see that Bubby Papermaker could be as 7-2, whereas morning line odds are 6-1. And then the Great Pumpkin, the Charlie Brown horse, that one looks like its odds can go down to maybe 2-5. You still catch a little bit of value there. And 37% chance for the Great Pumpkin to run a speed figure, 71 or over, the only horse in the field. That qualifies there. Our race shape here, we see everybody kind of stretched out a little bit. You mentioned the 1 horse, Tom, Complete Animal, making its first start. The 2 and the 4, Irish Deviant. The one you said gets out to the lead and then stops. And the 4 horse, those 2 both stopping. Not within 5 lengths of the leader. Of the 3 remaining horses that have shown an interest, the 7 wants to be on the lead, the 6 wants to be in the middle, the 5 wants to be in back. Speed usually wins these kind of races. Irish Deviant, the Great Pumpkin, going to be out front. Late speed could carry them to the finish line. Bubby the Papermaker, but could be way, way, way off the pace. That's about 6 lengths there, Tom. Looks like the Great Pumpkin is about 15 or 3 points clear of the Irish Deviant. Thomas, I don't think you have a 3-length winner in here. What do you think?
Nope, I don't. But I started out with the first-time starter. Just number 1, a Complete Animal. They paid $30K for this at the OBS sale, and workouts look pretty good. You know, this is not a great field, to say the least. So why not?
Let me ask you a question. You pay $30,000 for a horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a $15,000 sire feed there too, no?
No. That was what the sire fee is.
Mm-hmm.
The price what they're giving you is the sire average price is the first.
They paid for it, right?
And then what the stud fee, and then what they ended up paying for the horse.
So you buy it for 30,
mm-hmm.
and then you bring it out to the first race in 10. So
then you got all the expenses that you've had incurred since you bought that horse.
Right. So you get 10K if it gets claimed, and then you get 60% of the purse if you win. So that's what, another 6,000. It's $11,400 somewhere in there, roughly speaking. So if you win and get claimed, you're going to get 21,400. Cost you 30. That's a loss of about $8,600, not including, as you mentioned, all the other costs. That's not all that inspiring to me, although I agree with you. Not a whole lot to beat there.
Yeah, well, the trainer's good with first-time starters. He's had 4, and he's got 1 that won, and a very positive ROI. So, you know, yeah, he's brought a horse to debut and run well. The only negative there is that in main claimers, he hasn't done so well. So he's done better with special weights, a little better with the special weight horses than he has with the. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. You know, the mare was stakes placed. So and this is her first foal. So Yeah, there wasn't a lot else that really excited me in this race. So
My sentiments exactly. That's why
yeah,
I
I
had
mean,
it in
so
the
that's why
top
I
of
went
it.
that way. Then I took 4 Forever. Love is Forever. Shown early speed, and then one race, except for one race, and then fades. Last time it broke inward, it bumped, and never really. I don't, that didn't help the horse get to the front, obviously. Again, I see that one making the pace like the projections do, and I did like that work because at 36-3 breezing is not the normal works of this horse. Most of the works are pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
So getting some speed into it, get it out of the gate, maybe. And finally, I'll take the 7, the Great Pumpkin. He's tried and failed. Last time was against State Bred Maidens, ran 4th. He's got 22 starts and 8 in the money finishes. No, 2 to 5, you're crazy. Too many starts. Sorry. Unless something magical happens, money finishes as best I can give it.
I'm in complete agreement with you on the one horse. I don't think there's really much, if anything, to beat in this race. So it's the only one you can really make a claim that has a opportunity to surprise to the upside. Although our friend Christopher D'Souza is coming out aggressively on the 2-horse Irish Deviant to get to the front and stay on the front and not give it up. $100 to win on that 2-horse with the 5 and the 1 in an exacta and trifecta box. The Great Pumpkin, really, Thomas, I know our odds say it can go low. It's the only horse that's shown it can actually get to the par level for this race. Everybody else has been way, way, way under that number. Lord CB, the 6-horse, I'm going to go with the bomb in here. Last time out showed some improvement, so some signs of hope. As Tom says, all of the race internals got a little bit better last time out, and it's the only horse besides the 7 that can make that claim. And then Irish
and dropping back in distance after 2 true turns may also help it.
And I think Irish Deviant, good shot to get to the front, maybe a room for a bounce back in the 3rd career start on the class drop after struggling a little bit in career start number 2. Here we have some pick 4s, Tom, for Don Johnson. You're going to go the all button. So Tom's absolutely assured to have the winner in that opener. For him, he's hoping it's the 6, and so am I. And then he's got the 1-4-6, singling up the 4 with the 1-3-4-6. I'm going to go 3x4x2 by 3. So postmark that at 18 minutes onto the show. Of course, we'll timestamp everything after the show is over in the YouTube description, so you can come back and look at every race. We got 3 minutes, it looks like, to race number 1, Tom. So maybe we can make our way through race number 2 real quickly, race number 3. So let's give it a whirl. What's going on?
Yeah, we're going to enjoy the racing action from another 7 furlong race, but it's a $7,500 claimer, and this time it's restricted to fillies and mares, and they've not won 3 races lifetime.
So at least the horses that have shown they can find the winner's circle more than once. That's 7 furlongs. You're looking for, again, like we see in the first race coming up, stalkers 15% of the time, wire to wire. The rail is fair. 2 and 3 get a bonus. The farther you get from the rail, the less likely you are to win. In race number 3, our simulations show us that plenty of speed. Everybody with an opportunity to get to the front, a whole bunch of them should enjoy the pace, maybe except for the 1 horse. Of course, Tom and I have him highly rated there. As far as overlays are concerned, a little bit of an overlay for the 1. Be Like Beth. Yeah, it's probably the biggest overlay according to our simulations. None of them showing an opportunity to go above par. Our trip handicapping, wall of speed there, Tom, should set up nicely for the 1 or the 4 if they have some closing ability. So speed of the speed, it looks like Hidden Cash, Aztecs Bay. That's Tony's sister. Yeah, got all of them have some similar speed, but all very much in line with each other. This race likely to be won in the end. Hidden Cash does have a 1 length advantage over everybody else, sits behind the wall of speed, uses those late legs to score out as our top total pace horse, along with the 5 and the 4. Tom, how did you rank them?
I started with number 4, Be Like Beth. His first start off the layoff was a disaster. The gate broke open, and the horse was never to be found in that race. So I tossed it. Beat non-winners of 2 the race before, and drops this level, faces non-winners of 3. So we're getting a little same non-winners of 3, but we're dropping in price. The trainer has a really good record of off the claim second starts of 27% win and an 80% in the money. Those are good numbers. And number 1, hit that hidden cash is my next choice. It did something different in its race last time. It ran the front, which it hadn't really been doing. It's been close in the restricted state bred races, and then it's in some of it's never been. It was claimed, and this is a second start. They laid it off for 56 days, which I find interesting. So they're not rolling. They obviously found something, or they figured maybe a little rest will help. So I threw it in there. And then finally, I'm going to take number 6. That's Stony Sisters. It's close up for a while in a race like at this level, and then backed up a little bit. Second time down, showed more interest in the race, but had some issues. Big odds, signs of life, possibly.
As you're about to start race number 1, for me, I like hitting cash in race number 3. Good Works prepping for its first race since March. Be Like Beth drops to its lowest level in the last 10. Sanador, that one, better early and late. Another that could step up in second off the layoff. And then finally, that's Tony's sister, up to speed figure in the last 3, going to be a price. In race number 1, right now, the horse that is on the lead is Tom's 2. Keep Dem Talking. To the outside is the 4 horse. My Man Woody. I thought My Man Woody would be on the lead, but Keep Them Talking. We're not surprised that one's up there. Did show some speed. Does have that strong C-zone, so could be the most comfortable of that group. Next behind them is the 5 horse at 25-1. Connecting. Looking like it wants to be involved today, although the 4 horse and the 2 horse continue to set the tone at 23-1 in the opening quarter. The 4 horses got its nose in front of the 2 horse, but the horse that's coming the hardest right now, Thomas, is that 5 horse at 25-1. Is that one going to win this race? The 7 horse going to have to go way wide. The 8 on the inside trying to make its way up in there, but this horse race looks like the 4 horses race to win, although that 25-1 shot coming up aggressively and has found its way to the lead there, Tom. The 4 horse really fading hard. 7 horse is going to give it a go for second, although that 3 horse, that one's coming pretty aggressively. The 7's coming pretty aggressively. They're both trying to run down that 5, but they won't. It'll go 5, 3, 7, and then I think the one on the outside. Connecting, the bomb, coming home first at 25-1. I wish I had put that one at the top of my picks, Tom.
Well, we didn't.
No, I had him in there, trending up a lot. That's my 4th pick. That's the one where more distance could help, although it looked like he was about to run out of time and space right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a little tight.
Yeah. Well, he did end up winning by about a half a length, but if that race would have been another 3 or 4 strides, the 3 horse is going to run right by him with an aggressive run. Both the 3 and the 7 were coming pretty hot at the end. So, yeah, it looks like it goes 5, 3, 7, 1, 8. 5, 3, 7, 1, and 8. Hope you had the 5 on the top of your picks, folks, instead of 4th, like me. Race number 3 for Christopher. He likes the 5 to win with the 3 and the 4 in the exacta box. I want to say thank you to Linda Ford, Yanazita Garcia, and Philip Perkins for the thumbs up on Facebook. If you agree with them and we're worthy of a thumbs up, kindly click those buttons wherever you are. Follow us on all of our social sites. You see them streaming down there below. You know the routine. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. I'm not quite sure what you do on Threads, TikTok, and Instagram, but whatever it is you do there, kindly do that too. You can follow me too at HRT Rich on Twitter. Tom, what's your Twitter handle?
I'm not using Twitter anymore.
You're not on Twitter anymore? All right.
No, I've given it up.
Yeah, I don't really use it that much either. I use it, but I don't
that
use
was
it.
the way I was, and I just decided enough's enough.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. There's a lot of it's like the rain. It's like the next to the curb after the rain. There's a lot of garbage in there. All right, race number 4, Thomas. What are we doing there? Not enough for us on that one.
We're gonna run a race.
Mm-hmm.
A mile and 70 yards. So we're our first 2-turn race of the day. This is a restricted race for fillies and mares only. This is $7,500 cleaning tag, and these are non-winners of 3 lifetime.
And at a mile and 70, $1.70 on the main course, early speed goes well. 41% of the time it goes well enough to go gate to wire. It's a real discount, so no more diamonds. May not get the jewelry today. 2 and 3 gets a bit of a bonus. 4 through 7 a discount. 8 and out a bonus. So we have that accordion effect. In bad, out good. It's kind of like a Popeye, out with the in. Oh, well, yeah, I forget anyway. And a mile and 70 yards. We're looking for that early speed, Tom. And it looks like the fastest horse in the field are the 1 and the 3, Fine Whining and No More Diamonds, although Corona Campione will keep them to task as well. C-zone wise, it looks like the most comfortable up front will be No More Diamonds. As far as our overlays are concerned, Fine Whining is the only one in the field. It can go as low as maybe 1 to 2 and still maybe get some value with that guy. Our race shape tells us in race number 4, pretty balanced race. 3 up front, 3 in the middle, 3 in the back. Everybody ought to be where they want to be early on. Fine Whining, a little bit quicker, though, than the 1 and the 4. So that could discourage those 2 if the 3 takes charge early on. Fine Whining also scoring as the top total pace horse, making it, I think, top late pace. You can't pass what you can't catch. Making it by far the top total pace horse, Tom. Looks like this is the 3 horses race to win, Tom. Maybe falls into that category. Low odds, second place.
Very possible, but I left it out and went with that number 4, Corona Campiano is my top choice. Showed interest with some speed at the and a lot in the OC $25,000 level, and then backed out. Also a bit wide in that race, so probably lost a lot of its chance with that. It's dropping to this level. This is definitely the lesser of the company in its last 3 races. When she's got to be out front because she wins on the lead. She doesn't win any other way. So if she gets a lone out there type of running, I would say watch out. I'm going to take number 5, Amafi Lady, is my next choice. It's had good efforts at this level in the past, except for its last race where it just was passing tired horses. I think the distance suits, and I'm not expecting it to win, but got to put it in. Mm-hmm. And finally, I will take that 1, No More Diamonds. Had an outside post, raced mostly wide most of that race, and ran 3rd. So actually did okay. This will be the first try at this distance, but it draws inside, and I think it'll get a little better trip, which may help it improve its chances.
Once again, Tom, with the pick 4, he's going to single the 4, so he's really backing that up. And he's singling the 4 in the trifecta with a few extra bucks with the 4 all. So if the 4 comes home, Tom will be hoping for the next 2 longest shots behind that. I think that Fine Whining, I know it's going to be a big favorite, but I do think it's going to be a tough one to win here. If it runs back just the race prior to the last start, she wins. She wins by a lot. And I do like the fact that she has a maintenance workout between races, so to improve that race stamina. No More Diamonds, the 1 horse, the second call for me. Held its speed far deeper into the race last time out. Small cutback in distance. Helps with that strong C-zone. Should be comfortable right where it is on the track today. Tom's top pick in his single, Corona Campione. Lowest level of her short 7-race career. This is one of those horses that's a light switch. It's on, off, on, off. Last time it was off. That means this time it should be on, giving chance for Tom Single to come home. And Gormley Girl, the 2 horse, all of the race internals were better last time out. Going to catch a little bit less weight today and perhaps could take another step forward. I'm going to go with the pick 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 4, 6, 8, 2, 5, 4, 7, and 8 is my pick 4 in race number 4. 2 middle races in the card, starting off with race number 5. Tom, what are the conditions here?
We're going 7 furlongs, and we now have again a restricted race for fillies and mares, and this is for that infamous maiden claiming 10K.
Yes, indeed. So does that make that even lower in the barrel, Tom, if it's restricted?
No, it just means they don't want any colts in this race.
Yes, give the ladies a chance.
Or more likely geldings at this level.
So for 7 furlongs, we talked about it in the opener. Again, stalkers do best. It's probably the least important to be fast up front in terms of wire-to-wire wins at Parx at only 15%. There's a rail is fair. 2 and 3 get a bonus discount 4 and out. So you want to be on the inside 3 preferably. You want to have inside 3 speed preferably. Looks like the fastest of them all is Lady Gabrielle. She's on the outside, although the 4-horse Faux Pas, and that's the one that's most likely to give it a crack. It looks like none of them are going to be all that comfortable with our projected pace. Emma's Abbey, that one does show a par plus, although that one only has 1 race under its belt. Also shows a pretty strong overlay potential, but again, only 1 race so far, so really not a lot of weight into that data. Lady Gabrielle, perhaps a nice overlay there with that strong lead. Maybe instead of 15-1, maybe 7-1, 8-1, fairer odds. Race shape for the 5th race. Gotta love this one. None of them have been close, Tom.
No, they've been pretty pathetic.
Yes. And then the 4-horse right in here, Faux Pas, at least tried to close and did finish within 5 lengths of the leader. These races, I mean, they're usually won by horses that can get to the front confidently. Lady Gabrielle, Royal Upstart. This group right here, probably the best chance. Late speed, looks like Emma's Abbey in its debut showed a lot more than anybody else. Did make it the top total pace horse. But again, none of these really so far have fired. So it's anybody's guess. Maybe you should have alled this one, Thomas, but you went somewhere else.
I went somewhere else. And I started with number 1, Gwen Stacy. Les, gonna come back from a layoff. Works are okay. They're nothing gonna jump out at you. And the 3 efforts that it did run were, well, pathetic. But this time they're adding blinkers, they're adding Lasix, they're putting an apprentice on to get 7 pounds off. It's now or never. Number 3, Winbore, my next choice, drops from a higher price claimer. And it's run at the 10K level in the past and finished 3rd by 14 lengths. Well, it seems to be a theme in this race, so it's probably okay. It was scratched yesterday from a similar race to come run in this one. So that tells me the trainer thinks it's got a much better chance to bunch this bunch than it did yesterday.
Trainer intent, indeed.
Yep. And then finally that Faux Pas horse, with number 4, we're going to put that in there. It did run nicely, missed by a neck. I mean, I think moving it from 2 turn to 1 turn is probably a good thing. But will it win? This is a pathetic bunch. So who knows?
don't hold back, Tom.
Well, they are. I'm sorry. This is not a group 2 race at York tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
Or
speaking of which,
20 horse class 3 race.
Well, I mean, you can. Well, I mean, 2 or 3 races together would make 20 horses. I don't know how much class they'd have, but and speaking of York, Tom was kind enough to put his picks together. I will put them over on horseracingtoday.net a little bit later on today. You go over there and you'll catch them. There'll be another story coming from Aubrey Green too, I believe. She's the author. That'll also be at horseracingtoday.net. While you're over there, hit this HR tier gear button, support the show, get yourself a nice Horse Racing Today hat or See You in the Winner's Circle t-shirt. That's a great place to finish. We can get one in the winner's enclosure as well. And for the next couple of days, you get 15% off everything, as they say in Philadelphia. We certainly would appreciate the support, and you'll look great supporting the show. Well, I'm going to go, Thomas, with the 8 horse in here. Emmy's Abbey as my top pick. Was well bet in its debut. As you mentioned, a lot of these other horses have had a chance to get the job done. If this one can improve any in its second race, and typically you can add somewhere between 5 and 13 points to the speed figure. That's in the range for second race improvement. Not always, but can be expected. If it goes anywhere in that range, it beats this pathetic group. If not, faux pas, missed by a neck at this level last out. So at least you know it can compete here. Cutting back from $170 to 7 furlongs could be helpful. Royal Upstart, that one was the 6-5 favorite in its last race after coming up I-95 from Gulfstream to Parx. Did show the speed and fade. Should have more stamina in the second start after a layoff, but I really would have loved to seen a maintenance workout between starts. And I'm going to go with Gwen Stacy. Your top pick is my 4th. One of my favorite betting angles, Tom, sometimes is when a horse is a 2-year-old, doesn't get Lasix, comes back as a 3-year-old and gets it. But I would rather see something positive as a 2-year-old, and didn't see much of that out of the one.
No, it's a big leap of faith. But I got my dartboard out. Put the horses' names on there and threw it there and went, okay. But they're making a bunch of changes, so they are genuinely trying to get this horse interested.
Great Pumpkin, Bobby Papermaker. We got some picks here from Race Masters. Also race 6, Gavinci, she's got the game race. Mulla went to Cracker, Brooklyn Heights Cash on first face. 80, race 9, retweet. There you go for Race Masters. Christopher D'Souza in the
retweet was scratched.
Was it scratched?
Yes. So you may want to go revisit that.
Revisit the retweet. Are they retweets still, or are they re-X's now? I'm not sure.
How about none of the above?
Yeah, it could be that too, which is always the right answer when you're taking the SAT. Number 5 for Christopher D'Souza in race number 5, My Brown-Eyed Girl, along with the 3 horse, Winbori. Neither one of us have the 5, Thomas. And in this race, like you said, I think just about anything can happen. In race number 6, Tom, tell us at least what's happening from the condition book standpoint.
Oh, from the condition books standpoint, we're going 7 furlongs.
Again.
This is also a restricted filly in mare race for $5,000 claimers. And they're non-winners of 1, but it's not 13. We're now to 14. So November 14th.
So all the horses yesterday wouldn't qualify, but today
they qualify.
Indeed. Just 24 hours makes a huge difference. Just ask Kiefer Sutherland. In race number 6 at 7 furlongs, again, tactical speed. You want to be on the inside, best place to be. Looking at race number 6, our simulations are going to tell us that the speed belongs to Gavinci, the big-time favorite in there, also the only par plus. Anna Rocks is the one that's most likely to prefer today's pace, although Melodia might not be that far off in there as well. As far as overlays are concerned, the one horse, maybe half of its odds, 6-1 instead of 12-1. And then Gavinci, maybe down to half, 1-2. It's probably about where its odds are going to be, probably even lower than that. So it's got about a 44% chance to run a speed figure of 76 or better. None of them have an opportunity to do that. Looking at our race shape here, another one that's kind of strung out, the 6 horse, Oui, Madame. Not been close, within 5 lengths of the leader. 7 horse, she's got game, wants to be on the front. If she gets on the front, look out. Although Gavinci looks like it's a lot faster than that one. At the end of the race, it also looks like the speed belongs to Melodia, the 1 horse. So the 1 should be closing, probably about 2.5 lengths off the lead, but still quick enough to get past perhaps all of these horses. Gavinci is your top total pace horse, 21 points clear. According to that, this one wins by 5. Tom, perhaps another case of low odds finishes second.
Oh, I started number 2, Lip Lock. Blew the start. It's the best way to describe it last time. It came on to actually run pretty well. It got 4th. it's interesting. This is a move because the race before was for non-winner of 2 this year, or whatever the date it was, and then the last race was a non-winners of 1 based on the date. So they were actually moving the horse down a little bit in group in the class but this is one that they recently. Well, they didn't that recently but they got in January or December because they've been racing at Woodbine and like all weather and some turf races. And yeah, it's a little different. That adjustment is enough to tell me that gets out of the gate nicely. Maybe it's got a chance. 7, She's Got Game is my next one. She ran at this distance last time out. And it was her first start since November. Well, it was a race. She's at Finger Lakes, though. She's shown speed. And when she raced there last year. And then today, I think she's going to show speed and just needs the trip. And outside, always a challenge, but we are going to use an apprentice again to get that weight off, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I'm going to take Anna Rocks. Actually, I had her as one of my picks yesterday. They scratched her for this race. There's a second up off the claim, drop from 10K. Oh, yeah, been racing better at higher levels, switching from the 2 turns. And she has won at this distance. So, got to think about that, especially the trainer move.
Mm-hmm. And then the 5 is where you end, and I'll start with Cavinci again. Just probably is a low odds second place finisher because that tends to be what happens there at Parx. It's been off since the beginning of the year. The works are, but this horse is the most back class. It is not even close to the rest. It's not Tom's 2 horse. I like that one too. Lip Lock, better fractions in her last race. 3rd start after a layoff. The resume is mixed on the 3rd up. Looks like a turf horse to me, though, Tom. Its best record has been on turf. I wonder why they don't run it there.
So they may also be waiting until they start carting turf races at Parx.
She Got Game, 7 horse. We like the 2 and 7 in the same order right there. The only time the horse ran at 7 furlongs, that quirky. Is it a route? Is it a sprint? It won. Some success at Parx, so I'd like to see that. Second start off the sidelines with a good workout in between. Maybe that's the one that comes home the winner. And then finally, Melodia is one of these horses in this field that has at times hit Parx par for this level. It is an overlay and does have a pretty decent C zone as well. So maybe we can get some good odds on that one horse. The late pick 4 begins in race number 7, Tom. What are they going to start for here?
We are going to go 1 mile, and it is a restricted race for fillies and mares. $7,500 is the tag, and they have never won 2 races lifetime. So we've got some that have been able to crack that maiden, but not beyond.
Yeah, and there's no restriction on date, so no messing around based upon the calendar. At a 1 mile, 1 rotation around the track, you're looking for horses that do have some tactical speed, but still a bunch, nearly half of them, 46% wire to wire, really strong. So Map of Life, if you can get to the front, look out. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7 to get discounted. Again, way outside gets a big bonus too. So on race number 7, if you got some speed on the inside or outside, this whole race has got some speed. Everybody with some percent chance to get on the lead. A few of them over 20%. This should be contentious early on. The ones that might prefer the trip the best are the 2 horse Copa Blanco, Secret Temptation, along with Molly Want a Cracker. There we go. I was going to say, what does that say? None of them have popped the par plus score in our rankings. Big time potential overlay with Map of Life, 5-2, maybe 12-1. Big drop off.
You didn't change your screens.
I didn't change my screen.
Yeah, you're still stuck on the.
I'm not showing that right there. Map of Life. with the overlay. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
not what you're showing up?
yeah. Okay, no, never mind. I was
Uh,
looking at something else.
Cash on first, another potential overlay. Our trip handicapping shows a 8-horse gets to the front. Molly want a cracker. Molly could win. Everybody else middle back. So you lone speed, look out for that. Although that one might not be on the front, more in the middle of the pack, but does have a chance to get there. Again, everybody within 6 points. So spin your wheels, bump the gates, don't get out sharply. You could be first, you could be worst. At the end of the race, Cash on first, along with Bruno Barber Girl. Those two a little bit quicker, but not a whole lot better than everybody else. This is shaping up to be a very competitive spot, Tom. All but two within 5 points of each other on the total pace. This looks like another all. Maybe the 8-horse, if it can get to the lead, has the only tactical advantage. Tom, we've somehow ended up with the same 4 horses, just in a little different order.
Yeah, we did. And I start with 4, Sweet Temptation. Or Temptation. Raced twice a mile, was done okay. One in the slop was but it has won in the slop before, so I take that with a grain of salt. I'm looking for that third up angle, a winning effort.
Well, there's some rain in the forecast, so hopefully we get it.
7, Cash on first. Ran a strong third, coming off the pace, and it was coming off a layoff too. Like most of these horses, there are basically lovable losers. When you only win one, then run a bunch of times and can't get past that non-winners of of one race. But the thing is, it showed interest in its last race and ran well. The other thing is, if you go look at the odds, you see double-digit odds. And in the last race it ran, it was a single-digit odd. So what does that tell you? Watch the odds.
Mm-hmm.
It may tell you a lot about whether this horse got a chance or not. Finally, I will take that 8-horse Molly Want a Cracker. Won a 10K race in maiden claiming. Went wire to wire. They moved it up to an optional claimer of 16K and ran 4th, but it was 15 lengths behind. Is this the right level for this horse on the lead? I wouldn't be hugely surprised.
And if they can get the lead, it could be the lone E, which would be very much a confidence builder for Molly Want a Cracker. I started with the 4 too. We agree on that one. Is a left arrow horse. So when I say left arrow horse, a closer with enough early speed to be in contention early on. Those horses tend to overperform. Did run a Z pattern last time out, so stronger early and late pace with a little bit of a breather in the middle of the race, and did hold the speed deeper into the race last time out. Molly Want a Cracker, a good shot to be that lone E, is a class dropper, making the classic handicapping angle, 3rd start after a layoff. Only other time the horse made it 3 races in a row without heading to the sidelines was a rebound race. Cash on first, a 7. Another one whose resume says there's potential for major pop in the second run off the sidelines. And then finally, Brooklyn Heights, the 5-horse, higher 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers last time out, an indication of a horse coming to form. So when it is probably the most consistent performer in a group of horses that are all over the map from race to race to race. So at least you know you're going to get a consistent effort out of the 5-horse here. In this race, you like the 2-horse in there. Capo Blanco, going to put 50 to win on that one with the 8 and the 6 for Christopher D'Souza. Mikey Mike, I did 7 to win big in race 2 at Parx. That one's coming up in right about now. So let's rewind back to race number 2. Mikey going big on the Great Pumpkin at 4-5. And then that 1-horse, Tom, 5-2. The first time starter is the second choice. Then the 2-horse, Irish Deviant, Christopher's horse, 6-1. He put a hundo on that one. They're all getting in there lined up and ready to go. Is it raining there now? It looks like it might be raining there now. I see some stuff flashing across the screen, and I don't see shadows anymore. The track still listed as fast. It does. It kind of looks like it's raining, but it's kind of tough to tell on the screen, Tom. Can you tell? Is it raining there?
If it is, I can't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe just a little bit of old-fashioned static.
Yeah.
Just need to get the aluminum foil on the side of the computer.
Well, either there's some rabbit ears.
Looks like it's getting a little bit overcast over there because the shadows are pretty much gone. So it doesn't look like it's raining yet. I know the forecast said there would be some rain, and some of the horses
wet on the surface.
Looks like some of the horses are a little uncomfortable in the gate here.
Oh,
and they're off and running to a pretty clean start. Although it does look like the jockey on the 2-horse kind of trying to refrain his horse from really blasting out of there. You got to like when you see the first timer get to the lead, Tom. Didn't show any hesitation to do so. That's usually a good indication that the horse is interested. It did go off at 5-2. Your 4-horse, Love Is Forever, is the one that's going to give it a run for its money in the opening quarter of 22-1. Maybe a touch on the quick side.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a little quick.
Should set up for the horses sitting right behind it right now. That 7-horse does look like it's coming around, but it's going to have to go 3 wide to get by everybody. The 4-horse is up on the lead. And, well, it looks like that might be your winner, Thomas, because everybody else is really getting into their horses right now. Down the stretch they come. The 7-horse is trying to catch that 4-horse. I don't think he's going to get it done, though. He's trying right now. 4-horse is doing everything he can to give him a chance. It does look like the 6-horse right here, the Lord Seaby, is going to give it a chance for 2 bombs in a row, Thomas. And it's going to be this. It is. It's going to be it's going to go 7, 6, and 5. Damn it. We both wanted that 6-horse to win, Tom.
Yeah, we did.
As that one went off at 16-1 instead of 4-5. Although we are happy for our guy, Mikey Mike, to go big on that 7-horse. Knocked it down. Your $1,000 bet knocked it down to 4-5. Laughing out loud. Well, it may have over there.
It's very possible.
Let's see. How did that one go at the end there? You think the 7 got him, Tom?
It's close.
Yeah. The 6 was coming with a rush, and it looked like when the 6 came up alongside the 7, that's what invigorated the 7-horse. All of a sudden, its stride picked up. Yeah, I think it's going to go 7, 6, 5 is what I think it's going to go. Unfortunately, we both wanted that 6 in there to start our pick 4, but so be it. Off to race number 8. You and I will go. 3 more to go today. Tomorrow, unfortunately, we'll be off. We will be back on Thursday. Haven't made a decision on that, but maybe we'll do Pimlico to prep and get ready for the Preakness in the Black-Eyed Susan. How does that sound, Tom? Pimlico work for you, or would you rather do Aqueduct?
There's some group races at York. It'll be interesting.
You want to do some York in there too. All right. Well, let's do race 8.
We'll throw a little in there. Yeah.
Again, we're going to go a mile at race 8. And this might be the marquee race of the day.
Well, it appears to be. And we're going to go 1 mile. It's an optional claimer for $25K. And then we have all kinds of conditions, of course, right? Optional claimer, blah, blah, blah. Can't run for less. It doesn't count against you. So if you're in for 10, you're good. Never won 2 races. Or you can be in for the tag and never won 2 races.
So either way, you haven't won 2 races.
So essentially, if you've never won 2 races, but you could be in for a lower number and won. Mm-hmm. Not at this level.
So at a mile, speed will be the way. 50% roughly, 46% go wire to wire. Strong rail bonus for It's a Pity. 2 and 3 fair, 4 through 7 discount. 8 and out, really strong place to be as well in race number 8, but we don't get that far. The best named horse on the card today, scratched Gramalanga Ding Dong. Unfortunately, we don't get to say that too often. But again, we find a race for every horse. Has a shot to get on the lead, although It's a Pity looks like the fastest of the bunch early. And Rush Center looks like the one that's going to get the best trip in terms of pace, although Action Hero in that mix too. Got a couple of them with a chance to go above par with the 2-horse, the 5 and the 6, so half the field. The 2-horse Action Hero, a little bit of an overlay from 3-1, perhaps down to 9-5. Eddie W from 2-1 to 4-1. Maybe a little bit too much confidence in Rush Center from the morning line maker. Our trip handicapping shows that another even race, although the one horse, it's a pity. It is the Sesame Street horse, unlike the others. Maybe sits behind the 2 and 6 in front of the 3 and 5 and tries to close them out. Should be a part of the early pace there, along with the outside horse. Late speed belongs to the Eddie W. closer. Looks like the closer of the bunch, and really won't be all that far off the pace with this group. Maybe a length and a half, and about have a length and a half late speed advantage. Total horse, all really tight race, Tom. This could be an all race when we have Steven Fielder on, who wins all those contests. He said play the horse with the longest odds, Tom. Looks like you're going to take that strategy.
I am taking that strategy with number 3, Renegade Serenade. It's raced twice here at Parx. This first race it ran was better than the last race, but they eased it back at the start, and it appeared to be running a little rank. So it didn't settle. And the first race it ran there, it closed very strongly. It missed by a length, finishing 5th. That's positive.
Mm-hmm.
Ran on the prior to that, ran on the dirt at Fort Erie. It was an allowance race for non-winners of 2 and ran 3rd. Like the trainer numbers, and that's why I went with it on top. Trainers numbers 3rd up, 26% winning and 48% in the money. That's respectable.
Yeah, especially the win side.
Yep. Okay, we're going to take number 5, Eddie W., my next choice. Want a special weight, state bred, restricted maiden race. And yeah, it came from 13 lengths back to win. That's not bad. Then it ran 3rd against similar things, similar type of horse. Then they switched trainers. No, it was after they switched trainers, I should say. It's got 3 works preparing for this race. Those were good to me, and that's why I put it in for 2nd. And as you mentioned, it's a pity. He's got the rail and some speed. Rail trip last time out was at this level, and it ran 3rd. It's won at the maiden claimer 10, and then it's been running 4th, and 3rd. That's not bad.
No.
I think it'll run well enough to get some money today.
And then you got the 2 at the end of there. Well, five horse field. 6 horse.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not gonna go wild and crazy.
No, you always go with 3. I like to do 4. So Rush Center is the only horse in the field to get par at this level. I am worried about regression. One of the signs of regression could be when a horse pairs top speed figures. So you can take a look at that. You'll see here that when the horse does pair him up in the past, it's kind of backed up. So keep an eye out for that if you're looking for potential regression. Does concern me a lot here. Action Hero concerns me less. Last time out, Paco rode, and they crushed the field to get the maiden claiming 12 win or 10 win. Maybe you get a repeat race from Paco, but another one that paired speed figures last time out. It's a pity the one horse, if that one can get loose on the rail, although it doesn't look like it on paper, if it can't get loose on the rail, 46% of the time, the winner goes wire to wire, and the rail gets a bump. Finally, Eddie W. I think this one looks considerably better than Tom's 3 on paper, but heck, you never know when the race is over.
Until the race is over.
Yeah, and then, of course, my program is in wingdings, so nothing makes sense at times. Boom, the 7 horse in there. You got that for a grand? I would need that one too. 2 races to go to start the late daily double. That means race number 9 on this 10 race card. Thomas, another decent priced race for Parx.
It is good price. We're going 1 mile and 70 yards. It's an optional claimer for $25,000. I always think it's funny when they run for $1,000 more than the race is. But we got all kinds of conditions, of course, because we've got that infamous optional claimer or less, which has never won 3 races. Or you're in for a tag at 25, which have never won 3 races.
That extra 1,000 was for Mikey Mike right there. That's where that extra, that's where it comes from. At $170 on the main track. Again, you're looking for horses with early speed, a bunch, 40% touch more than that. Wire to wire winners. Rail discount for Thistle, 2 and 3 get a bonus, 4 through 7 discount, 8 and out a bonus. So again, an accordion type post position. In the 9th race, again, another race where all but one of them have some shot to get the lead. So how they pop out of the gate. Carnivore will be the one that probably sets the tone early on with retweets and Thistle.
Retweet,
it's scratched.
Yes.
All right. That must have been as we came to the show.
It was a later one. Because
so
I
no
retweets.
retweets.
I had it in my picks, and I quickly made a modification.
Yes, I'll modify mine too, and I'll put the 4 in there instead because I may need something down the line with that. All right. So in that race, no retweets in race number 9. So that one won't have it. So the 3 horse will really benefit from the 5 scratching. As far as our pace setup is concerned, well, you got a trio of them in here too, with some strong chance to go par plus. 2 of them, the 3 and the 6, the biggest chances. Overlay for Thistle and Carnivore. Those are your overlays, at least from our simulations. Our race shape here, there is no 5, so that changes the way that looks completely. So everybody wants to be middle back. The one horse being the one that has the most versatility as a PC type. Everybody else wants to close. Thomas, we take retweet out. Our early speed belongs to Carnivore, that 3 horse. Left arrow horse, Jeeper, they're all left arrow horses now. They all want to move forward from the back.
So you've got a whole bunch.
Jeeper to Thistle, no need to worry with the most late speed, considerably better than the bottom 3 there. Jeeper does grade out as your top total pace horse, although Thistle and Carnivore might keep that one company as it perhaps heads to winner circle, Tom, and we both think that's where it'll end up.
We do. That's why I target with Jeeper. Claimed it a couple races back. And it was claimed by the top trainer at Parx, and he got a second by a nose, and then won an optional claimer 16K level as the big favorite. Obviously, this was a very good claim. They're going to put it in for 25 today, and what'll happen? Well, we'll see. And 1 Thistle, I'm going to put in there. It was claimed last out, running along the rail. It finished 3rd by about a half a length. He's been racing at higher levels at Parx. Then they shipped it to Aqueduct for 2 races. He was claimed in his first start, and that was voided for 25. And then they dropped him to 14 against non-winners of 3, and he ran 2nd. You go figure that one out. They don't tell you why it was a voided claim. It would be nice to know that.
Well, I'll tell you that in England, right?
Yeah, and of course, since my other horse was scratched, I just have the 2 picks.
I have the 6 horse Jeeper too. I mean, that's going to be your big favorite. No big shock there.
No.
But if it can repeat any of the last 2 races, I mean, should make work of this group. If not, the Thistle, the 1 horse. As Tom have the first 3 in the same order. 3rd up should look a lot like the first 2 according to its CV. And then those 2 races are probably better than anything but anybody else has put on paper so far. Carnivore.
Jeeper is in for the tag, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, so you want to buy him?
I think I wouldn't be surprised if somebody took it.
Carnivore could have a bounce back race right here. That's been the pattern for this horse. Struggle and then pop back up. So pop back on the lead could be a great combination for Carnivore. And then I have no need to worry because the 5 horse scratched. I go back and see if I had the 5 in my pick for Thomas. I did not because I just went with the 1 and the 6 in this level. So that changes nothing. And that brings us to the final race for today. Again, tomorrow we'll be off. We will post Tom's York's picks over on horseracingtoday.net, the mothership. So
yeah, I always suggest people if you've never looked at some of those races, go watch them because you don't have to bet on them because they can be very interesting, especially when you get these 20 horse fields and how they split away, and it can be very profitable too if you could figure out. Right now in that race, I think the favorite is 7-1.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll just say this is in Saudi Arabia, so if I'm going to watch a horse race this time, I want to bet on them.
I don't blame you. But on the other hand, you may need a little education before you want to bet on some of these races.
Well, that's what your picks on horseracingtoday.net are for. That's the
Well,
education right there.
Either that or I'm telling you the ones not to play.
Yes.
Or that I'll play. They'll play them and then go pick something that'll actually win.
Those are a Friday and for me yesterday, but you got back into the winners column yesterday. You put a check mark. You flew the blue W. So for the last time today, Tom, please share with us the conditions for the final.
Absolutely. A 6 furlong race. It is also a restricted race for fillies and mares. We are at a $7,500 tag, and these are for a little better horses than not because they're non-winners of 4 races lifetime.
Yeah, so they have at least found the winner's circle on multiple occasions.
Yeah, but some of them have run 30 plus times and can't get past that point.
It's the squirrel finds nut theory in practice when you run 30 times and you get a couple of W's. 6 furlongs does favor tactical speed, a little more than 1 out of 3 win, gate to wire. Big time rail bonus for Lady Yellen. In fact, the closer you are to the rail, the better off you are. Anything from 4 and out performs a little bit under par, but it gets worse the farther from the rail that you go. So inside speed again, and all the speed is with the Buffalo Girls. On the outside, although the 1 and 3 could make it a challenge for the 9 and 10 to get forward. As far as our C-zone is concerned, it does look like the 1, the 3, so Lady Yellen, Road to Dreams, and Forest Maiden are the only ones to score above 50%. So they might find the trip to their liking. 4 with par plus scores in there, so maybe that's a nice trifecta, superfecta box with the 5, the 7, the 9, and the 10. And then finally, if you're looking for some overlay potential, it looks like only the 10. Mended we stand spit out odds that are lower than the post-time morning line odds. Our last look at our race trip handicapping here. Another race where most of the horses want to be middle back, could favor the horses that get forward. Again, it is a distance where 1 out of 3 goes wire to wire. Got a bunch of them that are going to fight for it. I've got to say, you probably want to look at the inside horses over that because they may make them work too hard. At the end of the race, Miss Alex will be coming the hardest, although Mended We Stand should be close to the front, does have a lot of speed, doesn't need the lead because it's an EP type, so it can pilot or co-pilot just as comfortably. And Mended We Stand is your top total pace horse, 8 points clear of the other front runner, Arlene's Crown. But I do wonder if those two duke it out from the outside, which one of them is going to tail off at the end. Thomas, how do you rank the last race?
I start with number 7, Paco Bell. Claimed last out, returns the same level. She ran 3rd. It's a decent effort against non-winners of 3. She had a winning effort, I should say, non-winners of 3. Drops back to 6 furlongs. After 3 races, it's 7 furlongs. What's interesting here is using the same jockey, but a different trainer. So I put it on top. 1, Lady Ellen. With that inside post, got to think about that one seriously. 1 non-winners of 2 level, then moved up and chased the leaders and was 10 lengths behind. Drops back in distance, got the inside speed. Definitely going to hang around for the end. And number 5, a Forest Maiden is my final choice. Won last time out on the sloppy track by 3 lengths, over 3 lengths. Moves up, obviously, because you have to. And I think it'll show speed again, but you got to be careful when they win on the slop. That's why I'm putting it for 3rd and not for the win.
Well, I agree with you, Tom. I'm hoping it rains by the time we get to the 10th race. There is rain in the forecast for about an hour before the final post today. Let's see if the weatherman can be right for once. If it's wet and it can repeat that race, it can get 2 wins in a row. If it's not wet, look out. Mended We Stand, the 10 horse. This has the 9, as we see in our simulations, as well as the pace handicapping, going to be up front. Which one can go wire to wire? The 10 horse definitely has more late stamina. Lady Yellen coming off the bench with a real strong workout, a bunch more behind that for stamina, so should be ready to run today for the first race since late February. And then Paco Bell. Shouldn't Paco Lopez be on that horse? I mean, if the name is Paco Bell. Who's riding it? It's not Paco, is it? No, Frankie Pennington. Well, Frankie's a good jockey too, but I feel like the name merits Paco Lopez on there. It was a tough call for me over the 9 horse, but the 9 is coming up in class. And you look at the new barn, you mentioned the 7 going to a new barn with the same jockey. They put a workout into it, a 3 furlong workout, not the fastest 3 furlong workout, but still that indicates to me that they want to get this new barn wants to get this horse off to a faster start than normal. And if it can get off to a quicker start, perhaps it can go wire to wire or sit right off the lead and close out the race at the end. 5-10-1-7 to finish up day 2. Terrific Tom Tuesday at Parx. Again, we'll be off tomorrow as I get everything prepared for the Preakness and the Black Eyed Susan. All of that will be available over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, where you can also get today's Finger Lakes races for free. Every day there's a free track. Just hit the link in the description down below or anywhere you find on our social sites a link. We greatly appreciate that. Thomas's York's picks will be up tomorrow over at horseracingtoday.net. Any preview for what you see over there aside from those deep fields, Tom? Any one horse that really stands out to you?
Yeah, there was. Let me pull. Can you give me one moment to pull that sheet up?
Yeah, and while you do that, let's go ahead and look at our full picks for the rest of today at Parx. First 2 are in the books. The 5 horse paid over $50, won. Then the 7 horse came in the winner there. Both wanted that 6 horse to come home for our pick 4s, but it didn't. Here are the rest of the day's picks from 3 through 10. Hopefully some big prices come in there that are more to the left side of our selections.
Yeah, there's 2 races of note that I like in this one. The 3rd race, which is a Group 2 6 furlong sprint with some pretty good sprinters in there. I went with a bit of a price on Cold Case. That's number 2. And the other race that I like a lot is the number 5 race. This is a Class 3 race going 7 furlongs. And number 7, Thursday's Child, is my top choice.
And Tom gets 22-1, Tom, the moniker, for a reason. When Tom likes them longies over there on the other side of the ocean, hell, even yesterday, that 4s popped right off the get-go, paid $23. So that's why Tom gets that name. It's rightfully earned. So make sure you get all of Tom's thoughts for tomorrow at York. Again, that'll be over to horseracingtoday.net. And then, of course, we'll be back on Thursday with a little bit of preview at Pimlico action. We'll take our gander at that. Tom will have some thoughts on York that day, too. And then 4 and Fridays, you mentioned Newmarket, right?
I'm going to Newberry because the Lockage Stakes is there. The Lockage has been one of the benchmark prep races for the English Derby, which will be coming up soon. And that usually makes, some big names have won that race, including Frankel, who went undefeated in his career and won that English Derby. So we'll take a look at that. That'll be our key, probably the key race of the day, but we'll always drive ourselves crazy with some, 25 horse fields. No, actually, I think there's a restriction at York on a number of horses. I think they can only put 20 in a gate.
Only 20. That's
only 20. Yeah, you gotta wait for Royal Ascot to get those more ambitious fields.
I'm going to get the Royal Ascot random number generator ready for the June 18th.
I quickly grabbed a sheet on the winners and the odds in the various races last year.
Mm-hmm.
And of those races, I think only 4 favorites won. And the longest shot was 150-1. And everything else was pretty decent pricing. Yeah,
it's one of those things. If you have one good day at the Royal Ascot, it pays for the entire time that you put some wagers there. And we'll certainly tackle that. I think the first day is June 18th, but whenever that is, I know it's in June around the 18th.
I can tell you exactly what it is. I have it circled on my calendar so I can get all my paperwork to go. Yeah, we're going to start out June 18th. And the big race that day is the Queen Anne. And we should point out that is a Breeders' Cup when you're in. So we're going to have a few of those type races at Royal Ascot too. Mm-hmm. We've had some earlier already.
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Tom, any final Words of wisdom for this Tuesday.
Yes, don't throw anything too sharp at your television set when your horse is losing. It could be expensive.
At Parx, it might be more expensive than some of the horses themselves.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. All right. No matter what you're doing for the rest of this day, we certainly hope you have God's grace, God's favor in all of your life's endeavors, and that everything ends up in
Winner's Circle.
Indeed. Tom with the big cup of coffee this morning. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a great day.